Yes. Hello, hi to everyone. It's really a pleasure for me to be here and to communicate to you and to present my work and work of my organization. But also before I start, I would like to ask you to think about and after the lecture to share your thoughts about the role of NGOs, about faith-based organizations and charity organizations in assistance to reduce such negative consequences of migration crisis as this one caused by war or by other disasters. Also, what are the strengths and weaknesses of such organizations and assistance they provide? So it would be really nice to hear from you afterwards. Of course, if you'd like to share. First of all, let me introduce Caritas. Caritas Ukraine is a national network of more than 45 organizations and a national office based in Lviv and Kyiv. Caritas Ukraine is one of the largest charitable non-profit organizations and network in Ukraine. And together we deliver professional humanitarian, social and development program rooted in human dignity. Caritas Ukraine is also part of Caritas Internationalis Confederation, which is an expression of the social service of Catholic Church. The international Caritas family includes more than 160 national organizations in more than 200 countries. Caritas Internationalis is a member of the Pontifical Council's Cor Unum Conference of International Catholic Organizations, which has a consultative status with UNESCO and other UN organizations, the Council of Europe and the Organization of African Unity, and cooperates with the European Union and many prominent politicians and public figures. The first Caritas organization was established in the German city of Freiburg in 1897, and Caritas Ukraine was established in 1994 and officially registered in 1999. So except Caritas Internationalis, Caritas Ukraine is also a member of Caritas Europe. So the beginning of war, 2022. More than 8.3 million of Ukrainians left Ukraine and were forced to seek protection in European countries. By IOM statistics, over 32 million people are estimated to be affected by the full-scale war, having lost income, jobs, homes, loved ones, experiencing separation with their families, uncertainty, and having no means to address basic needs. But it is not possible to overestimate the support EU and also other countries provide to Ukraine. But open borders at the beginning of war have saved thousands of lives. Activation of temporary protection directive has provided millions of Ukrainians with means to continue to live with dignity, to reduce stress from losses, heal the pain, and in friendly environment to get prepared to return back, but one day. This unprecedented solidarity of European family shows us the mercy, kindness, and love that can overcome any challenges and decrease negative consequences of the cruelest war in the modern history of humankind. Unfortunately, the war continues. Respectively, the act of solidarity should continue as well. New reality can't be felt with fatigue, since together we are protecting the main principles and values which should have been steadfast after the Second World War. Also, I would like to share my personal experience when the war started. So it was really a disaster for and shocked for everyone. So, of course, it was. We were informed that such aggression can happen, but still, everyone hoped that it would never happen. So. International organizations, diplomats, embassies evacuated their staff from Ukraine, and there were no international support inside Ukraine. So on the beginning of war, it was like on second or third day, a colleague from IOM called me and asked to conduct a need assessment at the border. And of course, I agreed, and we went together. And it was really very difficult to get there. And police car, we followed police car in order to get to the border. And what we've seen there, so it was Rava-Ruska border. It's a border with Poland, and we've been there on 28th of February, and we made this needs assessment. So here on the picture, you see a group of foreign students who waited their turn to get to the Poland. Also, I made a video. And just to show you how the line was long. And also on the right, you can see that people self-organize themselves, they prepare food, and there were lots of children, women, and it was an endless line. And it was such lines were at every border with the EU, but also with Moldova. So there were like none or any kind of assistance from organizations or states, but people in the nearest villages, they help those who were fleeing. They feed them, they allow them to get warm in their houses and support as they can. But after this need assessment, after the need assessment were made, I also shared it with other colleagues and with our teams abroad, our Caritas abroad, and it was really easy to get humanitarian assistance into the country. So after several days, we've organized an assistance at the border. So only at Rava-Ruska border, during the first week of war, about 77,000 of people fleeing Ukraine stood in line and tried to reach a safer place. So, and Caritas Poland, together with Caritas Ukraine, organized a tent of hope at the border, so where people could get hot food, drinks, medicine, hygienic items, warm clothes, and a place to rest. Also here you can see the work of Caritas Drohobych, whose workers, employees delivered assistance at the border. Also, what I noticed that people were also shocked, of course, and we've managed to print leaflets with the safety information, because we've also realized that such mass of people in need will be an easy prey for organized crime. So we've also distributed thousands of leaflets with the numbers with numbers of telephone where people can get assistance after they cross the border, and also safety rules, easy safety rules to remember. Not to get into the car of unknown persons. So do not give your documents to also to people you don't know, and something like really very easy, but at the stress. When you're stressed, you always you can forget it. So, but after a while, it also was very important to think strategically. It was important to think about our capacities. What can we do in this situation to measure our resources, and also organize ourselves in the most appropriate way in order to put some goals, and then to find the way to reach them due based on our experience, our previous connections, our staff, and so on. So we formulate such a mission based on encyclical of Pope Benedict XVI, Caritas in Veritate. So through its activities, Caritas Ukraine contributes to the principal ground that every migrant is a person who, as such, has basic integral rights that must be respected by everyone and under any circumstances. With its program activities, Caritas Ukraine contributes to the achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, namely Goal 10, reducing inequality in terms of promoting orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people, including through the implementation of planned and well-managed migration policies. And Goal 16, peace and justice in terms of combating abuse, exploitation, human trafficking, and all forms of violence and torture against children. Also, we've developed our own goals that can be measurable, and so the first one, raising awareness of day migration and preventing human trafficking. In particular, citizens of Ukraine, regardless of the purpose of traveling abroad, are aware of their rights, obligations, have the necessary documents to stay abroad, and have information on the possibility of seeking assistance from Ukrainian consular office, NGOs, or charitable organizations. Citizens of Ukraine who left Ukraine because of Russian aggression against Ukraine are aware of the procedures for obtaining temporary protection and have the opportunity to enjoy guaranteed rights and receive basic services at the appropriate level in the host countries. And citizens of Ukraine are aware of the risk of getting into a situation of human trafficking. Currently, there are 7 centers on counter-trafficking and migration across the country. So they are based in Odessa, Kyiv, Lviv, Ivano-Frankivsk, Chernivtsi, Khmelnytsky, and Ternopil region. Each Caritas center regularly held 2 or 3 preventive events per month, including training sessions, conferences, roundtables, discussion, performance, and campaigning. The participants of these events are students, representatives of state institutions and local government, self-government bodies, representatives of territorial communities, volunteers, also vulnerable population, unemployed, people with disabilities, people who reached retirement age, young people looking for a better life abroad, and others. So in total, our awareness-raising events cover more than 100,000 participants per year. But also we've thought that it would be good to capitalize our knowledge in order to make this information available and useful for as many people as possible. So that's why we've designed and delivered a course on human trafficking. So it is available on a platform called Prometheus. We've together designed it with them, and it is free of charge. Anyone can enter it and in its own pace conclude it. So the name of the course is Human Trafficking: How to Protect Yourself and Your Loved Ones. With it, we've reached more than 25,000 of participants who received also certificates. And we've also received quite a good rate, 8.6 out of 10, yes, and 9 of 10 of participants would recommend this course to others. Our main target audience here are students, teachers, social workers, psychologists, and we've really reached them. And also advantage of this course is that you can follow it wherever you want, having just internet, and it is on this platform on a regular basis. So another activities of our employees go to schools. And it is very important to talk to students and to pupils because we also conducted an research, and by the result of this research, Safe Migration of Ukrainian School Children, conducted in April 2025, 45% of questioned teenagers at the age of 14, 17 years old plan to go abroad in the nearest future. The main reasons are security situation in the country, and also that boys after 18 years old, they are not allowed to leave the country. And also desire to study abroad. Our partner organizations in Romania, Slovakia, and Czech Republic, which assist Ukrainian refugees, confirm a rise in unaccompanied boys aged 16, 17 years in groups. After obtaining a temporary protection status, many of them disappear. Their place of residence and activities remain unknown. Some may have been promised jobs, particularly in Czech Republic, where education is no longer mandatory after 16 years old. Without knowledge of the local legislation or legal system, these young migrants are highly vulnerable to exploitation and become easy prey for traffickers. So that is why it is important to be at school and tell them and to speak to their parents, teachers about safety as well as safety rules. Here we have more time nowadays, especially for youngsters. There are much time to prepare themselves. Enough time to prepare themselves, for example, to go for educational reasons, for study reasons. That's why we pay attention at it. So please be prepared. And another our activity is consultation on legal migration, but the main focus on Germany, as the vast majority of Ukrainians in EU are staying in Germany due to good social assistance and social service system in Germany. So we provide online consultation, group consultation, or also in person, and on in individual basis. It can be about obtaining of temporary protection status. It can be about study, about family reunification, and also depend on the need of a person and its capacities. And if possible, we also, or if it is required, we also link them with the service, with the migration service in Germany, especially if they know where exactly in which part of Germany they are moving. So we provide all necessary contacts and country orientation, so they know where to go, what to ask. and to be better integrated afterwards. Our second goal is proactive screening, identification, and provision of comprehensive assistance to victims of human trafficking and their families. Yearly, more than 150 survivors of trafficking receive comprehensive assistance, possibility to return to community and restore life. Among them, there are men, women, and children trafficked for labor, sexual exploitation, forced begging, or involvement into war crimes, war conflict. So when the war started, the number of internal trafficking increased, especially on occupied territories. People mainly are suffered from mixed form of trafficking and with the focus on engagement into war conflicts. That's something that we've never traced before. So our team, which I mentioned, of 7 centers across the country, they assess the needs of victims of human trafficking by taking an individual approach to each person, taking into account their physical, psychological, social, and legal status. We conducted detailed interviews, analyzed living conditions, the presence of family members and social ties. Also, as well as needs for housing, medical treatment, education, or employment. Based on the gathered information, we develop an individual reintegration plan that include specific steps for their return to a safe and independent life. We integrated the necessary services into their plans, including medical care, psychological support, legal assistance, training, taking into account their wishes, their capacities, and pace of recovery. Also, at the end of the lecture, I would like that all of us watched the film that were made this year by our team. It is like one of the advocacy tool, which we also use in different international events to show how human trafficking changed due to war conflict and what does it mean for Ukrainians now. So the film is based on stories of our beneficiaries. But also, if it would be difficult to have joint possibility to watch it together, Father Roman will share the link, and you can do it also by yourself. It is a short one; it's just 13 minutes.
Should I start now?
No, after.
After. Okay.
Later. Just a short introduction because of the topic. Our third goal is the provision of reintegration assistance to Ukrainian citizens after a long stay abroad. Citizens of Ukraine, as well as foreign citizens or stateless persons who have been legally residing in Ukraine, in case of returning to Ukraine under voluntary return program or integration projects, receive a range of services for sustainable reintegration into Ukrainian society. Caritas Ukraine provides such services since 2004. And services include basic post-arrival assistance. So this is emergency housing, meeting at the border. Before the war, it was also pick up at airport, but now there are no flights in Ukraine. Also legal and administrative support, temporary accommodation. We can rent accommodation for our returnees. Social support, contact with the social network of the returnees. We've managed to restore family ties after years abroad. education and schooling for the returnees and his or her children, medical assistance, assistance to set up micro business, job counseling, assistance for vulnerable returnees, assistance for unaccompanied minors, and also referrals. But when the war started in February, these reintegration services were put on hold because people were leaving, they were not coming back to Ukraine. But Caritas Ukraine staff continue to support all active cases. In June 2022, we received first returnee after the war started. 80% of reintegration budgets were used for housing, to purchase building materials and for renovation work, as a lot of houses were damaged due to bombing and close fire fights. Also, they purchased some furniture and household appliances, especially at occupied territories. After the territories were rebuilt, houses were these appliances were stolen and houses were ruined, and it was quite a necessary some basic things that people need to restore more or less normal life in their homes. And by our statistics, 20% of the budget was spent for medical reasons. It was added for treatment, but also for psychological support. Also, what we've noticed that now people in Ukraine are more likely to go to receive the psychological assistance than before the war, because it's really very difficult now to cope mentally with all that is going on. There was quite an interesting case where Caritas was involved. So in March 2022, during the joint operation of Ukrainian and Belgian armed forces, and also social services from both countries, 56 children were evacuated from Kiev region to Belgium. So as you know, that part of Kiev region was occupied. And in March, it was revealed, and children, people, and everyone who were living there, they were really shocked in very bad conditions. And there was a goodwill of the Belgian government to support children. So they were placed in foster families in different cities of Belgium. But in August 2022, first group of children, 26, they returned to Ukraine, and Caritas was a social partner for the state who provided reintegration support for returnees, for returned children, their families. And about this particular case, so after the start of the war, two brothers, 10 and 13 years old, were evacuated. The father and grandmother remained in their home. The village was not occupied, but house was damaged by bombing, so windows and roof were damaged. The children stayed in Belgium from March 2022 till May 2023. And grandmother and father regularly communicated with them by phone. So in May 23, children returned to Ukraine. Our staff accompanied them from border to their home in village of Skiben. Upon the arrival, the need assessment was conducted and assistance provided. The main needs were to repair roof and windows and furniture for children, beds, and also desk and some school supplies. Also for online school, because at the beginning of the war, only online school were available, especially for children in north and east regions and south. And our fourth goal is developing cooperation with government agencies, international organizations, and other partner organizations in the field of safe migration and combating human trafficking. And in particular, Caritas Ukraine influence migration and anti-trafficking policies in Ukraine and Europe. This is like a logical step from previous goals based on our experience and our availability to work on the ground, to provide assistance, to communicate with people, to see what is going on. So by doing this, by working from the ground, we work on national level and on international level, because we can deliver the main messages, what is going on right now, which assistance is needed, which we can also provide an decision, which decisions should be made, and we also provide a recommendation, and we are also doing advocacy on different level in order to improve situation, especially for most vulnerable people, in getting them needed assistance, and also improve their conditions in country, and for Ukrainians who are currently staying abroad. So we cooperate, the cooperations. We work through Caritas Europe and Caritas Internationalis in general migration issues, in particular participation in the work of Caritas Europe group on migration for the purpose of information exchange, joint research, preparation of advocacy documents at the EU level and also at the national level. And as example of our joint work is that European Commission mentioned the joint statement which Caritas Europe has prepared. And it is a quote from the document that in March 2025, 109 humanitarian and civil society organizations have published a joint statement on the situation of displaced persons from Ukraine, respectively calling on the Commission to propose the further extension of temporary protection until March 2027, while offering clarity on the future of temporary protection and residence status of people displaced from Ukraine. So it was really a very important part of our work, as you know that the nature of temporary protection is temporal, and Ukrainians in EU could lost their status after the end of temporary protection directive. That's why it is very important to provide them with durable solutions. So for those who can enter national resident program statuses, and also, but for us as for faith-based organization, is the most important that vulnerable people are not left behind. So there should be a solution for them, because it is much easier for those who have work or are studying, so they already can switch the status. But for vulnerable who need support, it is not clear yet, and they also cannot return to Ukraine, because Ukraine currently cannot provide a necessary level of assistance. That's why we provide recommendation to European Commission to consider, to take into consideration, and on a national, through other national organization, Caritas in European Union, to also to monitor the situation on national level. I'm sorry, but I think there is a alarm now in Lviv also. Cooperation with UNODC, COORDNET, Renate, CTN. This is a network of counter trafficking. So through this network, our goal is to carry out advocacy work on combating human trafficking at the global level and to present the activities of Caritas Ukraine in the field of combating human trafficking at the international level. So here you can see me participating together with my colleague Natalia Holinska at Constructive Dialogue on Human Trafficking during the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime in July 24 in Vienna, Austria. So there we could also talk about situation with human trafficking in Ukraine to share our experience, how the situation has changed because of war. And also to provide recommendation on improvement. This is one of the example, but during 1 year we participated in quite a big number of different abroad, nationally and worldwide. So it's for us it's really very important that our voice is heard. It is not easy to get out of Ukraine, and because without flights it take more time. If for example, if previously before the war it was just 1 hour from Lviv, 1 hour flight to Vienna, so now it's turned to 18 hours by bus or train. It also depends on how long you need to wait in line at the border. Also establishing cooperation with the National Caritas Organization of countries bordering Ukraine or close to Ukraine. Romania, Moldova, Slovakia, Poland, Bulgaria, Hungary, Czech Republic, Baltic countries, with the aim of conducting joint activities, both project and advocacy, to support Ukrainians who were forced to leave Ukraine, to return to Ukraine, to move to another country, or support integration in hosting society by promoting safe migration and taking joint anti-trafficking action. In 2024, Ukrainian Refugee Response Learning Platform was established. And it helps to strengthen capacities of Caritas member organizations to respond to needs of displaced population and support return afterwards. We work in 5 thematic groups. It is case management, PSS, employment, education, and safe return. So colleagues from countries neighboring to Ukraine, together with colleagues from Caritas Ukraine, share their experience, best practices, recommendations also to their government regarding tackling this migration crisis and showing the best practices of support to a vulnerable population. And also together we think about how to help people on move, especially those who want to return to Ukraine. And now, according to UNHCR data, more than 1 million Ukrainians has already returned back since summer 2022. But still, there are no data how many from them also re-immigrate, because it's always currently it is back and forth process, as the situation is not still clear what will happen. Also, we use data from think tanks, from universities, and different international organizations And it was also interesting to see this survey from Center for Economic Strategies on intentions of Ukrainians to return to Ukraine. And they make their study on regular basis. And here you can also see the statistics of proportion of those who wanted to return back to Ukraine started from November 2022 and how it changed till now, till December 2004. So now less than 43% of Ukrainians want to come back due to either they already come back or due to integration into host society. And also it is quite a sad story because Ukraine need people to recover, but also we understand that it is people's life and everyone can have to decide and can decide by themselves. It is also interesting to know that that Ukrainians who are currently living in neighboring countries are more willing to return to Ukraine. And this our learning platform also we also conducted our own research in order to dig deeper for purposes for our own purposes. In order to better provide assistance and to know the intentions of Ukrainians who receive assistance in countries neighboring to Ukraine, and to connect them to Caritas Ukraine if they need assistance on their way back home. So we made our own research with Caritas Romania. And you see also the statistic that still there is a high number of those who want to return, but after the war. So in March 2025, more than 56% still dream about returning, but also we see the changes in integration. So now more than 40% want to stay in Romania. Still, Romania is not easy country for integration, as the language is difficult, social security system is not working well for vulnerable people, and also it's not easy for children to study in Romanian schools, but still more than 3 years in war have such impact. Also, I thought that it would be interesting to you to know more, reasons for Ukrainians to return. What are the main reasons? And it's also from returnees from Romania answered these questions. What are the main reasons for returning now during the active war? And most of them answered desire to reunite with relatives in Ukraine, homesickness, also lack of affordable housing and high cost of rent, financial assistance cancelled, and difficulties in finding jobs. So when there are no financial assistance from state or from NGOs and you cannot work, of course, there are no possibility for you to survive. Then you need to take some other decision. It's either to migrate to other countries, and most of people do not want to migrate to other countries because it's another stress. So they decide to return to Ukraine. And also most of those who returned, they returned to the same place. It's 81%. And from Romania, most of Ukrainians migrated from east part of Ukraine and north part of Ukraine, where I think where the most dangerous situation is currently now. It's Donetsk region, Luhansk is occupied, Dnipro region, Odessa, Mykolaiv, so it's heavily shelled every day. So it's we can presumed that it was a forced decision to return due to economical reason. And there was a question, did you manage to adapt to life in Ukraine? And 77% answered yes. And about, do you plan to stay in Ukraine? 65, only 65 said yes. So others considering to remigrate again. And the main difficulties people have since returning to Ukraine are fear, anxiety, material and financial difficulties, physical, psychological, unemployment, and low salaries. As best practices of the work of the platform after 1 year, so we formulate them. So within the work of the platform, the network for safe return was established with contact details and links with Caritas Ukraine as a receiving partner and reintegration service provider. The platform has proved its efficiency as information sharing tool. It helps to reveal emerging challenges which are not tackled by official authorities, either in Ukraine or in receiving states. An example, Caritas Slovakia and also Caritas Czech has raised an issue of accompanied minors. That was, I also told you before. And I also to highlight that unaccompanied minors was not typical for Ukrainians. So, families never left their youngsters or their children without care. So it's really extraordinary situations now. Between Caritas Poland and Caritas Ukraine, collaboration was established in supporting evacuated orphan children from occupied territories of Ukraine. So Caritas Ukraine psychologists and social workers, they went to those evacuated orphanages in Poland and helped also, and are currently helping the staff who are caring for children by providing psychological support to them and share their methodologies to deal with the stress, because you can also imagine that caregivers for orphan children, they have to live abroad without their families for many months, as nobody can also take care of the children. So there is a high need to support them in a different way. And also, we wanted to support a return of orphan children when it will be a better situation in Ukraine, and support Ukrainian authority and facilities after the war, or when the situation is getting better, because or usually these orphanages are now from occupied territories, so they have no chances to return back at the same places. So there is need to find new accommodation, new places, facilities for them in Ukraine. So it's our current task, together with Caritas Poland and the Ukrainian authority, to think about how to be prepared. Yeah? With Caritas Romania and Caritas Moldova, we've developed a joint project on cross-border cooperation. It is for a 3-year project, where we also will work with border police, with law enforcement at the border, in order to help most vulnerable returnees or refugees with the reintegration assistance, and also assistance during when they are on the move. Also to screen and identify victims of human trafficking, and to build better connection between our countries and our Caritas organizations, to make awareness raising campaigns, and as well as advocacy, in order also to improve the situation at the border. And lessons learned within the work of the platform. So the main obstacles to return remain both military and economic. Ongoing security risks and uncertainty, destroyed housing, low living standards, and challenges in finding employment in Ukraine are among key factors discouraging refugees from coming back. Nevertheless, as we can trace the decrease of supporting programs for Ukrainian refugees, the most vulnerable categories are put at risk with no alternatives to stay at the same place where support was provided. Therefore, we made an advocacy statement that we call EU to continue financing humanitarian and development programs provided by governments and NGOs, especially in neighboring to Ukraine countries, in order not to leave behind the most vulnerable. The work is continued, so we do not stop. We always try to find a possibility both to help people, both to support Ukraine as a state in its effort to help society and to stay as a state, to function as a state, and also to be visible on different levels, so that people in other countries also do not forget about situation in Ukraine. So they know about what is going on, and also for them to know that together we are stronger, we can make a difference, we can stop the war, and we can help those who are in need currently. I would like to now to show our film, so if possible, and after it we can you can reflect on the topic, and you can share your thoughts. I would be very grateful for that.
Wait a minute. Okay. Let me.
We want to show all of Europe and the world just how horrific human trafficking is, especially in times of war. The stories of those who have suffered from exploitation and violence are just a glimpse of the countless cases Ukrainians have endured during the armed conflict, occupation and displacement. During the war, human trafficking takes many forms, including labor and sexual exploitation, involvement into armed conflict and forced deportation of Ukrainian children for adoption or even organ harvesting. People become easy prey for the occupiers, as they don't need to be recruited or transported. They are simply captured, held and exploited as forced laborers or sex slaves. Ukrainian women, men and children may become the victims of trafficking.
I was afraid, but I have to speak out.
Журналіст з Маріуполя.
I felt disgusted and in pain. I was terrified for my family.
I endured so much abuse in captivity that I feared I wouldn't survive.
People of all ages can fall victims of human trafficking. Criminals have no regard for a person's emotions, well-being, feelings, or struggles. As a result, psychological trauma occurs when the boundaries of our psyche are violated, whether suddenly and unexpectedly or through prolonged and intense suffering. However, it is important to remember that the human mind is resilient and capable of healing. Allowing yourself to talk, cry, and rebuild trust is essential. After all, trust in others is often the first thing to be lost. In such situation, seeking professional support is crucial, because no one should have to face their pain alone.
Caritas Ukraine's anti-trafficking centers offer comprehensive reintegration support to individuals who have experienced various forms of human trafficking. This assistance includes social, material, psychological, psychotherapeutic, medical, legal, and other essential services, all tailored to each person's unique needs. Anyone can become a victim of human trafficking, but you're not alone. Life is fragile, but we're here for you.
76 years have passed since the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Yet humanity continues to struggle to uphold the fundamental rights it enshrines. Article 4 explicitly states, "No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms." However, in recent years, the intensity of armed conflicts worldwide has escalated, leading to a sharp rise in widespread human rights violations. The war in Ukraine serves as a stark reminder that our rights are not guaranteed. They must be defended every day. Human trafficking remains one of the most hidden yet highly profitable crimes. It is crucial not to stay silent, as every survivor's story and testimony contribute to the fight for justice. We urge the international community to listen to Ukrainians and hold the criminals accountable.
After the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, more than 7.5 million Ukrainians fled abroad. 4.7 million people have been displaced within Ukraine. 11,973 civilians, including 583 children, have been killed. 19,546 children have been deported to Russia or temporarily occupied territories. 1,932 children went missing. In 2024, the National Social Service of Ukraine recorded 182 cases of human trafficking. In 2024, Caritas Ukraine identified 198 victims of human trafficking and 120 potential victims of modern slavery. Life is fragile, but Caritas Ukraine is here for you.